What is going on here with local policing? What is going on the ground? Is it drugs gangs? What is it? What's at the heart of the problem?
Well, I represent 2 million people, and the two cities in Hampshire, Portsmouth and Southampton, have just under 500,000 people between them. But yet 60% of the crime in Hampshire and the Isle of Wight, in Hampshire Constabulary, comes from the two cities. Now, two really big drivers in this. One is drug-related harm. Young people, 10 years ago, how many teenagers were carrying knives? None. Now they carry knives to fund drug addictions, to protect themselves, to when they're selling drugs, to fund their own addictions.
So knife crime is a problem in Hampshire, yeah?
It's a problem.
Yeah.
We have a violent reduction unit. We're one of the 12 police forces across the country that has a violent reduction unit, which comes under my direct control, and I get a specific grant from the Home Office for that. Secondly, is domestic abuse. Domestic violence is a massive issue. It's the single largest crime that the police respond to.
How much has lockdown worse than that?
It really did, hugely. Shoplifting, acquisitive crimes, burglaries, they all dropped. ASB dropped a bit in 2020, spiked in 21 when people were allowed to go out more. But domestic abuse was terrible, as was child neglect and child abuse. So there are some really big issues here, but it's not just about those things, it's also about serious organised crime. I think a lot of the members of the public are unaware of the number of crime gangs. We've got 48 serious organised crime gangs working across this county at the moment.
Wow. And yet, the struggle and one of Boris's big promises, your leader, was to load more police officers going to be recruited. But it seems again that somehow it's London where the emphasis is, because I can't believe it, that the Met are offering your officers a £5,000 bounty to leave the constabulary here and join the Met. And remembering that we are before the watershed and keep it clean, how do you feel about that?
I am very, very, very unhappy about it. It's Sir Stephen House, the temporary assistant commissioner of the Met, who's replaced Cressida Dick, has gone back on a gentleman's agreement from 3 weeks ago when he met with chief constables, and he actually met with a couple of my police commissioner colleagues as well. They said that they weren't going to do this, and the reason this is a problem, they have said they're going to do it, but we are going to be challenging this. So this is all about the police uplift. It's about the 20,000 additional police officers nationally. Here in Hampshire, that means that we have to recruit 498 additional new officers by the 31st of March next year. Now, when I became Commissioner last year, I said that's not good enough. We need 1,000. So I'm going to set you a target of 600 by March next year, and then we'll work on the other 400 over the next couple of years. We're actually going to be OK here. But my colleagues, the other 7 forces that surround London, it's going to cause a significant problem. And, it could be an issue for the government, particularly for the Prime Minister. If we don't hit the 20,000, it has to be done.